Welcome to Circuit Masterclass, your go-to channel for everything in power systems, transmission, and distribution engineering. Don't forget to check out circuitmasterclass.com for in-depth blogs and bonus content. We have provided the website link below in the description. Let's get started.
Let's have a discussion on the operation duty cycle of circuit breakers. The operation duty cycle is normally written on the rating plate of all high voltage SF6 circuit breakers, vacuum circuit breakers, and even on the rating plates of oil and air circuit breakers. Now, the question is, what does this rating actually mean? When a fault occurs in the system and the breaker trips, it can reclose automatically to eliminate the unnecessary delay that occurs during manual operation. This is important because it has been observed that around 95% of faults in overhead networks are transient in nature, meaning they clear on their own shortly after occurring. During such transient faults, the circuit breaker trips. If we try to reclose the breaker manually, it takes time. To avoid unnecessary interruption duration, auto reclosing is used. However, the auto recloser must not close the breaker immediately. There must be an interval between closing operations. When the circuit breaker is in the closed condition, both the tripping spring and the closing spring are in the charged state. Now, if a fault occurs, the circuit breaker receives a trip command and opens. The tripping spring discharges. After 0.3 seconds or 300 milliseconds, the auto recloser sends a closing command to the closing coil of the breaker. This 0.3-second interval is called the dead time. The dead time is the period required for the circuit breaker to settle after arc extinction between the contacts. It is the time needed for the dielectric medium between the contacts to become fully deionized and recover its full dielectric strength. After this time, a closing pulse is sent to the circuit breaker. If the fault still persists, the breaker will trip immediately. Now, when the breaker closes, the closing spring discharges. As it is mechanically linked to the tripping spring, part of the energy from the closing spring is used to recharge the tripping spring. Immediately after that, the tripping spring discharges to trip the circuit breaker again. Then, the recloser may attempt another closing operation to check whether the fault is permanent or temporary. But now, both springs, the closing spring and the tripping spring, are in discharged condition, so the breaker cannot be operated again immediately. The circuit breaker needs sufficient time to recharge the springs. After the last closing operation, the closing spring starts recharging through a charging motor operated via a limit switch. The total time required, including spring recharging along with medium recovery, is around 3 minutes. So, the breaker should not be closed again, either by auto recloser or manually, before 3 minutes have passed. This 3-minute interval is the standard margin, allowing the spring mechanism to fully recharge along with the dielectric medium to recover. Only after this can another closing operation be performed. If the fault is still there, meaning it is permanent, the breaker will trip again and the spring mechanism will begin recharging again. However, no more closing operations should be attempted until the system is reset or repaired. This applies whether you're using manual, recloser, or auto recloser operations. This is the significance of the duty cycle of a circuit breaker. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, and tap the notification bell. Got questions or want us to cover a specific topic? Leave a comment. Thank you.